In this video, we are going to be backtesting euro dollar over the 2024 price action. Before we do that, here's a quick preview of the results that we had over around 8 months worth of data. We had a 55% win rate with a 1 to 3 mechanical risk to reward ratio per trade and a max loss streak of only 3 trades. And that's the strategy that we're going to be testing in today's session. I'm going to be revealing the full strategy rule set, the risk management plan, and everything you guys need to know, as well as going through around 30 minutes worth of actual backtesting. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's head right over to the charts and let's jump straight into it. Alright guys, so thanks for joining me here over on the charts. As always, let's start off on higher time frame and see where we can see price going. So let's zoom out actually to weekly time frame. At the end of last session, I believe we were still looking for some longs. So overall, like, higher time frame here is a little bit of a mess, but as I was saying last time, you can view this in two different ways. You can view this as like a weekly change of character followed by a retest into this weekly supply zone, which you can see price reacted to. Or you can just see this as like a bullish pullback in a bullish market for price to take out some previous lows and then continue on over to the upside. Obviously, we don't know which one of those two scenarios is going to play out. So this is why I always emphasize to the guys inside VIP to react to price, don't try to predict it. So here, if we jump over to daily chart, I think buys do seem more likely. You can see that once price took out this low to the left, we did have a change of character back here in October of the previous year. Price has then kind of retraced back down, but overall it's reacted to this imbalance, and then it's kind of, recently we haven't yet had a shift. This would be a shift, but we've seen price push back down, react to daily demand, and we've seen this very clear bullish intent after price broke the highs up here. And then once again, price retraced back down, took out this daily liquidity right here, and then we've seen that impulsive momentum coming back in. So I think going into this session, we're going to be looking to position ourselves into some longs, at least to target some of these previous highs up here. So if we jump over to lower time frame, here on the hourly, you can see again, very clear bullish momentum. This is basically what has made me look for some more longs as opposed to before, where price was in this bear structure. You can see that once it took that daily liquidity, we had that very clear shift back bullish. So yeah, let's have a look. What time is this? This is New York on a Friday. So maybe we could see a trade before the market closes. Doesn't seem like price wants to pull back though. Yeah, so this is too late on a Friday for me now. So I'm going to jump to London the following Monday. Okay, cool. So London session, we're seeing this pullback at market open. Let me just zoom out and see. Yeah, so in terms of targets, this high, very obvious target that price is gravitating towards. One of the tips that I always give the guys as well is that whenever you see price retracing at a previous high or a previous low without sweeping that high or low, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be to pause to create more liquidity for then price to go up, because the majority of people are going to be trying to short this, seeing it as like a previous resistance, right? So here, what I would be interested in seeing would be if we can have a sweep of Asia low and maybe a sweep of this. This is kind of like that last liquidity before the imbalance. We also technically have like a demand zone below it as well. So if we can see a sweep into that area plus our entry model, we can look for longs. Right, so price has tapped into it. So for anybody unfamiliar, my entry model is always on the M5 time frame. I do that just to keep things as consistent as possible and to remove as much discretion as possible. And I'm simply looking for an M5 change of character. So let's play price. And nope, doesn't seem like we're getting one. Here you can see that there wasn't really anything we could have done there. Price did not present our entry model. So yeah, that's annoying. So analysis played out perfectly, just no entry, unfortunately, which is fine. We can now move on to the next trade. We have now also seen a main breaker structure, so we can actually get rid of some of these markings, right? Price still looks good for more upside. I want to be a bit careful of probably the next target for me would be this weekly liquidity here. And the reason I'm looking at this one is because I want to be a bit careful, since price, the first time it came up into this weekly supply, we had this sell-off. So we could maybe see a sweep of this high followed by a reaction to the downside. But in the meantime, just looking for more continuations up. Right, so in terms of points of interest here, we have maybe this hourly demand if price can retrace into it. But yeah, apart from that, there's nothing really I'd be interested in here. Yeah, let's go to the following day. Alright, cool. So London session opens. What I would be interested in seeing here would be if we can take out this low and the Asia low into this area of demand just below it. Alright, so we've had that low swept into this hourly demand. So here, monitoring for an entry, as always, using the M5 to execute trades. And yeah, so we just had our entry model. You can see price kind of consolidating within this demand. We've had that shift in structure, plus an area of imbalance. The only two things I always look for my entry is change of character plus imbalance. As soon as I see that, I enter on a retracement. Stops just below the low, and I do a mechanical 1 to 3 take profit. So in this case, we're targeting this level here. The reason I do mechanical 1 to 3 is just to keep things as consistent and as mechanical as possible, to remove as much discretion as possible. So yeah, this is a valid trade, I mean, so let's enter, see how it goes. All right, nice push so far. Let's see, is there anything price could reverse from here? Not really. I mean, maybe Asia high all the way up there. With my trades as well, guys, I hold to stop loss or take profit. I don't make them break even. And the reason for that is just because I found that the most profitable approach for this system is to not make break even. Break even actually made it less profitable. Oh, damn. So that's annoying. Price went around 2.7% in our favor, then came down and stopped us out. That's fine. We can look for another opportunity here. So my next idea, now that this demand did not hold, would actually be to long from this. One of the kind of things I see a lot of people doing, and this causes a lot of unnecessary losses, is in an overall bullish market like this, they would view this as a change of character rather than as a sweep of previous lows. But in an overall bullish market, the likelihood is that price continues up, right? So I'm viewing this as a sweep for higher prices. This is another valid trade as well. We've had our change of character right here. We've got an area of imbalanced demand. So I'm going to re-enter if price can retrace into this area. A little bit of a bigger stop on this one, just below the low, but that's completely fine. And as before, mechanical 1 to 3. Let's see if this retraces for us. Doesn't seem like it wants to at the moment. No, I'm going to cancel that limit now. That's annoying. Analysis is playing out perfectly. So what we can look for here now is, what time is this? Yeah, let's go to the next day. So yeah, I was going to say look for more longs up into the previous highs. There's not really any reason why price wouldn't get there. But yeah, no pullback there, so no entry, unfortunately. Still looks good for more longs though. There's not really, like I said before, not really any reason why we could see a reversal here until it reaches this previous high. So going to lower time frame. I want to see some sort of pullback first. Obviously, we don't want to be entering up here. Right, go to the following London session now. Okay, London session, we've seen sweep of this previous liquidity here. Okay, cool. If we can see a clear change of character from this level, I would jump back in longs. So for this one, I would need to see this structure broken first. And a close above. Yeah, something like that. That's valid. Change of character. The only thing with this is that there's not really a clear area to enter from. Right? It's just kind of consolidating. So this is not quite valid for me yet. I'm going to just wait. Okay, so the low has held. We've had that change of character there. If we can see a pullback here, I'm happy to get in. Alright, so tagged into that trade now. Thought process behind this one was that we had this change of character. There wasn't originally an area of imbalance to enter from, which is one of my criteria, but I basically saw price holding this low, and then on the M5 we saw price create this momentum, break this internal structure, and then came back down into the imbalance. So that's kind of the thought process behind this one. Alright, no, so little loss on that one. Probably some sort of news event that down. Alright, next area. Again, I'm still not viewing this as a change of character. I'm just viewing it as a pullback for more longs, just based on that the overall structure is still bullish, right? Damn, so that should have been an entry there. I played price too quickly, but we've had our change of character, followed by a push into this low. With this one, the risk reward is probably going to be worth it if we just execute here, because we missed our original trade. So let's see how this goes. Like I said, the original trade should have been once this change of character happened, executing here with a 1 to 3, but we missed that, so I'm just going to get a late entry. That's fine. And let's play this on and see how it goes. Yeah, nice. There we go. So TP hit on that one. Quite a slow start to the session, but that's fine. The thing with this is, like, our analysis has been spot on. We just haven't really been getting any entries, which is, you know, sometimes that happens. Still very clear bullish market structure though. Looking to follow this up into this previous high up here. Alright, so what time is this now? Okay, cool. So this is at the London Open. What I would look for here at the London Open would be maybe if we can see price push into the demand. Alright, cool. So we've seen a push into demand. Change of character would be if it breaks this high. Yep, there we go. Perfect. Executing on a retracement into the imbalance. 1 to 3 TP. Let's see how this goes. Wow. Okay, so tagged out by like less than a pip, and then price has hit our TP. Slightly annoying, but you know, sometimes that happens as well. Okay, so let's go to the next day now. All right, next day we've seen price come down. We've seen it take out the Asia lows into this POI. All right, I'm in this. If we can get a retracement. Thoughts here, we've had Asia low swept, price in point of interest, change of character plus imbalance. Damn, so same thing again, just stopped out by a few pips and then price has gone in our direction. Okay, cool. So it is now approaching that liquidity level as well. I want to be a bit mindful of that. So I'll go to London. Maybe we can look for one more buy up into it. All right, potentially from here. It's not an imbalanced demand, but it is like a clear previous area of demand that price reacted to in the past. And as you can see on the higher time frame, it's paused just before that liquidity, which could give us a nice opportunity to buy up into it. I just want to as well get rid of some of this just to clear up the charts a bit. I'm also aware that higher time frame hasn't really pulled back yet a lot, so just keeping that in mind. Yeah, so this is a bit of a mess, but still looking for longs here. So analysis played out, but there was no entry there. We've now seen that liquidity taken out, so I want to be a bit cautious here that we could see a potential reversal. This is shaping up nicely actually. So price has come into that weekly supply, swept the liquidity to the left. We've had a 15-minute shift to the downside. We've got Asia high positioned just below the supply. So I'm actually going to look for a short here. And as always, 1 to 3 TP. Let's see if it can retrace. Nice wick entry on that. Took the inducement and has started to push. I think this looks good for at least a sell into this opposing liquidity. So even if we're wrong about sells, we could at least see a small push down. Yeah, there you go. So TP hit on that one. Right, so if we zoom out as well, like I said at the start of this session, one thing that I'm a big advocate of is rather than predicting where price is going to go, react to it. So we have seen a sweep of this previous high, right? So even if this is going to remain bullish, you would see price normally react to a key liquidity point like this. But on daily, just look at the momentum coming up. So it still could be bullish, right? And I want to be prepared for that bullish scenario. So if price retraces on daily time frame, this is kind of the next area where we could potentially consider some more buys. In the meantime, now that price has flipped bearish on lower time frame, I would consider shorting down to it. Okay, so maybe from this supply zone, I'm going to go to London though, first of all. Right, prices come back up into this area at the London Open. Ideally, we see a sweep of Asia first. Have we had that? Oh, my bad. We've already had that anyway. So let's monitor to see what happens here. All right, cool. So we've had sweep of Asia. We've had our change of character to the downside. We've got area of supply. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to be a bit more conservative with the stop on this one just because it only just swept Asia high. We might see a regrab of that previous high as well. Yeah, I'm not liking that momentum, to be honest. It seems like so far this session we've just we've been continuously wicked out and then price has gone in our favor. I think it could probably go from here now as well. Okay, no. So maybe one last move to the upside. It is still within, like I said before, I want to be careful here because it is still within this weekly supply and it has just taken that weekly liquidity. So I'm thinking we could still see some downside from here. So we've had our change of character after that high was regrabbed. I'm going to enter on the imbalance, which is just above this last liquidity here. 1 to 3 TP. Okay, no. So again, stopped that too early on that one. Still a little bit conflicting because you could also say this was a breaker structure. I'm just thinking, like, because we've got this liquidity down here, daily time frame is a bit like overextended. It hasn't really retraced. We could still see that push down. We have had, if we're looking at 15-minute structure, we've had it shift bearish here. Still really conflicted. I'm probably just going to leave this unless something nice presents. Yeah, okay, there we go. So we've seen price now hold this high break structure again. So I think sells are much more likely now. Although I'm not seeing a clear point of interest here. Alright, so we've had price now kind of very clearly shift to the downside. On 4-hour time frame, you can very clearly see starting to break bearish here. It's still approaching this daily demand. I would consider buying at this daily demand if price can come into it. But we can also look for some shorts down into it, I think, if we can see a retracement here. Okay, so London's open. We've seen Asia high grabbed into that supply zone. We've had a shift to the downside. Let's enter on a retracement. Yeah, nice, perfect there. So I didn't really explain that, but essentially what I was seeing, we had price retrace. It retraced very kind of slowly and correctively, took this liquidity into the hourly supply, and then at the London open we got our entry model, which was sweep of the previous liquidity to the left, change of character on M5, and then I entered here on that last liquidity there before the imbalance. Rather than, I see a lot of people try to get sniper entries and refine it to the supply itself. I'm happy to enter anywhere in this imbalance really, as long as the risk reward is worth it. But with this one, I obviously wanted to wait for a retracement, because if we entered down here, the risk reward would have been completely ruined. So that's why I waited for a retracement on that one. Yeah, let's go to the following London session now. So we've seen another break structure to the downside. The only thing here, we might see price come back for this liquidity and come up into this sort of region maybe. Want to be a bit careful with that. Kind of like this whole, this area is the supply actually. You can see as well, we haven't really had a retracement yet. Also, it is coming down towards that daily demand. Let's see how it reacts to Asia high. It is kind of within 15-minute supply as well. We've had Asia high taken at London open. Let's see if we can get an entry here, or see what price does. So here I'm looking for either price to break this low or to re-grab the highs. Hasn't really shown any intent yet though. so there would be our change of character, but this is now Asia session, so let's go to the following London session. Yeah, so no entry there really. And we have now seen price come down, and well, not quite, but it has almost tapped into this daily demand. Also, you can just see kind of price build and liquidity here. We've got like 1, 2, 3 highs here. Okay, this might be another nice opportunity. You can see it's just paused before tapping into that daily demand, which gives us a nice opportunity to short down into it. It's not really anything I'm liking there, to be honest. Okay, now we've tapped into daily demand. What time is this? Yeah, well, we'll have to go to the following London session anyway. Yeah, there you go. So price starting to break to the upside on M15 and lower. So even on the hourly time frame as well, you can see that very clear momentum coming in, which is ideally what we want to see when looking for a change of character. You want to see that clear momentum. So yeah, price has now tapped into this daily demand. So what I'm thinking with this is that this could have just been a daily retracement for higher prices, right? So I'm looking for more buying opportunities here. This is quite late in the day now though, so I'm going to go to the following London. Not seeing too much. I was going to look at this demand, but I don't think we're likely to see a confirmation from it. Yeah, see, like price just came down with this one impulsive move. There's no structure for a confirmation. All right, so next idea. Let's see. This could be nice. So we've had price come down, tap into this hourly demand. It's presented a change of character. So if we can see a retracement into this area, I would enter. And 1 to 3 TP. Obviously, if this breaks the high before pulling back, it's invalid. Yeah, so that's now invalid. Still looking for longs though, just now we need another confirmation essentially. Okay, maybe from here. So I've got this POI and we've also got one slightly lower, just here. So this one is based on sweep of Asia low and it being a clear demand. We also have this lower one though, you can see it's kind of like this refined area here. But yeah, let's see how price reacts to this first one. Okay, this is nice. So if we can see a retracement into the imbalance, I'm going to enter here. I ideally don't want to target above the high, so I'm going to refine this a little bit. Okay, so in the live market, obviously I wouldn't have taken that. I think it was, yeah, that was NFP, so wouldn't have entered that anyway. But yeah, the lower point of interest ended up being respected. Fortunately, no entry because of NFP, obviously. All right, next idea. Post NFP, we've seen price come down, grab these lows. This is probably too late on a Friday though now. Let's have a look. Okay, so it is only 2 p.m, so we might be able to... No, there's nothing else here. I'm going to go to the following Monday now. Alright, this could be nice. So we've had price come down. Tap the demand, take out all of these lows. We've had Asia low taken at the London Open as well. There, so we've had our change of character from the point of interest. Stops below the low, 1 to 3 take profit. Okay, no, so little loss on that one. Yeah, so my next idea now would be to see probably price take out this low back into the daily demand. Something like that, and then look for another entry. So I'm going to go to London as well because I won't be entering this time. Okay, so London we've seen come down, sweep Asia low. For a confirmation on this, I would need to see a break above that high. Now it would be a break above this high. Yeah, there we go. So now we've had that clear shift back bullish from the daily demand. Remember, because we are in this daily demand, I'm still just viewing this as like a sweep of previous lows. Yeah, you can see that price very clearly creating that intent. Let's go to the following day. Okay, following day opens, we have clear area of demand position below Asia low. This is my point of interest. Alright, so price is tapped into it. Right, let's have a look. That clear change of character from the point of interest. Let's wait for a retracement. Plus 1 to 3 TP. Alright, no, so no pullback on that one. Next idea would be to see this taken out because we've got this kind of engineered liquidity above it. Actually, we could have probably got a nice trade from there. That was really late in the day anyway, so I wouldn't have taken anything there. Okay, new breaker structure, and overall looking for price to target at least this high. I don't really see any reason why it wouldn't get to that point. Yeah, let's go to Tuesday. Monday didn't pull back. Okay, so price has pulled back. It's taken out all of these lows. What time of day is this? It's getting quite late though. Yeah, so I'm going to go to the following day now. This is too late. It's a bit of a mess here. Maybe if we can see a tap into this POI. Something like that. Okay, next idea would be from here. Let's go to London though. This is the Asian session. All right, Asia pushes up. So yeah, looking, now that we've had this change of character, looking for a retracement into this region. Doesn't seem like we're getting the retracement though. Really this whole region, if we can see a confirmation out of it. Yeah, I'm gonna enter here. Reason for this, we've had price tap into the demand, we've had our change of character, and the risk to reward is already worth it, so I'm not waiting for a pullback. If I wasn't in this first trade, a reaction from this area would be nice. Okay, no, so stopped on that one. Has still come back down and reacted from the extreme here. There's not going to be an entry there though, that's the only thing. Yeah, so price rallied from there, but there was no structure on the way down, which is why I didn't execute that one. Let's have a look at the analytics so far. So wasn't the best session, to be honest, but I'm going to upload this regardless. We've still had a 55% win rate with a mechanical 1 to 3, so great stuff overall, and obviously a nice smooth equity curve as well, with not really many drawdown periods. I think our max loss streak was 3, so still pretty good results. But yeah, guys, if you did enjoy this backtesting session, make sure to like and subscribe. I will put the playlist up here as well if you missed any of the previous parts for you to watch next. And I will see you guys in the next one.